No, you own it, girl. Work that stage.
We're starting a new series called Own It. And we're going to look at this idea of what it means to own tonight our faith. And then next week, we're going to look at the idea of owning our Bibles, what it looks like to own Scripture. And then the last night together, we're going to look at what it means to own our worship. When we worship together, what does it mean to own that? And so I want to start by kind of talking about the word own for a second. When we say own, we don't mean necessarily like you go and buy something, right? Like if you go buy something, you own it like that. We're talking more of like take responsibility for, like really make it a part of who you are, own it in that way. So like when I say, like the first thing we thought of when we were like, oh, we'll do own your Bible, like own the Bible, and like, you don't really like own that like you wrote it or something, but so it's like you own it, you take responsibility for it. And so tonight, we're gonna look at this idea of what it means to own our faith. And so I want to look at this word faith a little bit and really try to kind of understand what it means to own our faith, what it is that this faith that maybe that we have. And so faith, I want to break down as this way as we start, is faith is confidence in something or someone. Having faith is having confidence in someone, or maybe having like deep trust in somebody. So if you have faith, like you trust this person. If you have faith in somebody, you trust somebody, right? Like I trust my parents, right? I trust my wife. I trust some of you people, right? Some of you. And so also we look at this idea of faith as or someone that is faithful is somebody that invokes trust in us. So if somebody is faithful or they act that way, it helps invoke a trust in us, in that person. So I have faith in those people who are faithful to me, right? So when I was thinking about this idea this week of faith and trust and how we could do this, I thought about something crazy that we could kind of do, and I want to try it right now and just see what happens, okay? So I asked a few guys if they'd come help me. So come help me. Okay. And Sonny said he would come and help too, so that there was an adult involved. Everybody say hi to Sonny. Hi. Good. All right. And where's my other volunteer? Miss Katie, come on up, Miss Katie. Yeah. Katie, I want you to take your place, which is standing on top of this chair. Okay, good. Everyone say hi, Katie. Hi. Say thank you for risking your life. Okay, good. All right, so Sonny, have you ever let a trust fall before? Sure. All right, will you set these guys up in kind of a trust fall-esque action here?
Are you gonna make me fall?
Hey, Katie. How much do you trust these guys?
I don't really know them.
Yeah. How well do you know these guys at all?
What?
Do you know these guys at all?
I've seen them, but I don't know them.
You've seen them, but you don't really know them,
Yeah.
right? So how good are you feeling right now about
Bad.
about falling into them? Okay, so here's how are you guys feeling about this?
Awesome. Good.
Y'all are good and confident?
It's gonna go just how I want it to go.
Is it? Okay, good. Hey, these guys feel great about it. All right, so here's what... Shh. Just like, why don't y'all squat down a little bit? That's a little bit better. I don't know. How do we feel about that, Sonny?
I don't feel
All right, let's get up a little bit higher. There we go. Okay, squat maybe a little bend in the knees. There you go. Okay, so here's... Katie, shh. Katie, I want you to turn around and close your eyes.
Oh my God.
Close your eyes because we're going to pray for you.
Oh dear. There should be someone underneath
right.
them.
Oh, we've got Sunny here. Everything's fine. All right. Shh, shh. Like any stunt, I need complete silence for this. All right. Shh. Complete silence. Shh. What? Oh, sorry. I'm in the way, apparently. All right. On three, Katie, I'm going to ask you to just trust these guys that you've never met before and fall into them. Don't look at me. Look that way. Keep your eyes on the cross. You'll need it. All right, here we go. Shh, everyone be quiet. 1, 2, 3. Y'all are dropping her. You caught her and now you're dropping. Okay, Katie, don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. All right, good.
What was that about?
How did you guys feel about all that?
Good.
Okay, good. Sit down. Katie,
I want to do it.
Katie, what was it like to fall? Now you guys know their reputation a little bit, right?
Yeah.
What was it like to fall into their arms knowing very little about what was going to happen?
Scary.
Yeah, it was a little bit scary, right? And part of that was a little bit like they're senior guys. You're a sophomore, right? You don't know them all that well, right? There's not all that much history there with you guys, right? Would you say you have none history with them?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you, Katie. Everyone give it up for Katie. Thank you to all my volunteers. Everybody give it up for the guys, too, for not dropping her. They really tried to, I felt like. Drop her. So I use that as an illustration because I want to think about this faith and this trust that we have in God. You see, is someone taking care of that music thing for me? Because that'll distract me. So we're going to go to Hebrews 11. Because Hebrews 11 is where most people go to define faith. See, at the beginning of Hebrews 11, we get this definition of what faith is. So the writer to the Hebrews people explains what it is. He says, faith is the reality of what we hope for, the proof of what we don't see. How many of you have heard that passage before, right? Or in some translation, right? Faith is the reality of what we hope for and the proof of what we don't see. It is the reality. He uses these two really awesome words in there. He says reality and then proof. It is the reality of what we hope for and the proof of what we don't see. So when the writer uses that word reality, the essence of what that word is, or the real part of that word is that reality is the essence of who somebody is. It is the essence of who that somebody is, the reality that we hope for, the essence that we hope for. And then he goes on later to use the word proof, which proof was just really, it was a word mostly used in the court systems to talk about the truth. Right? So the proof that they're seeking is the truth of things. So reality is the essence of who we are, the essence of something. And so hello everyone. It's okay, they're here. I'm happy they're here. So this passage in Hebrews 11 is interesting because the way it's written, if the writer had to tell these people what faith is, then they were probably struggling with it in some way, right? That just kind of makes sense. If the writer is writing to these people saying, this is what faith is, they were probably struggling with it in some way. But here's the cool thing about this passage, is faith wasn't a new thing to these people. To the Hebrew people that he was writing, it wasn't a new thing. That faith was a part of who they are already, which means they were having some sort of struggle with it. There's some sort of internal conflict that they were having with this idea of faith. And so he does this really cool thing. the rest of the chapter, the rest of Hebrews 11, we all stop at that first little definition, right? It's the reality of what we hope for and the proof, right? But he goes on and he starts sweeping through the entirety of the Hebrew history. He starts with Abel, then he goes to Enoch, and then Noah, and then he goes to Abraham, and he goes to Sarah, he goes to Joseph, and he continues to go on about the history of the Hebrew people and how faith has been an integral part of every one of those movements. Every huge part of their faith, every pillar in their history acted on faith. They relied and trusted on God. So if he's writing to them about this and having to define it, it's not that they don't know what faith is, but they're questioning it for some reason. How many of you have been in a place where you feel like you've questioned your faith for one reason or another? Right? You've been in some sort of place. And so what the writer is doing is he's pointing out, he said, don't you see that faith is a part of who you are? To trust God is part of the very essence of who you are from the very beginning of time, because God made you to be that way. And who God is God is someone who invokes trust in you. God is someone who comes and invokes a trusting feeling in you. Just like Katie got up, and I don't know whether she really trusted them or not, but there was something other than my voice that made her just fall into their arms. She had some sort of nature about her that knew that those guys were going to trust her. But the difference there was she didn't have much history. He's saying, you have history in faith. It's not a new thing for you. Faith is a part of who you are. It is in your history. So what does it mean to own our faith? I think owning our faith means asking really hard questions. I think it means not knowing all the answers and not being scared to ask the hard questions. Not being scared at times to feel like you're in a down spot in your faith, but realizing that trusting God, leaning on God is a part of who you are, is a part of who God created you to be. And who God is somebody who invokes trust in you. So on Friday night, somebody sent me, they text messaged me a picture of a sunrise. And I was sitting there Friday night, it was late, much later than I normally answer text messages, and I was just sitting on my couch watching TV, and Carlisle was sitting there with me, and I look at my phone, and tears kind of start streaming down my face. And of course, Carlisle's like, what's going on? Because normally it's only Carlisle that sends me text messages that make me cry. I was just kidding, I'm kidding. Joke. Thanks for the pity. So I get this text message, and instantly tears kind of start streaming down my face, and it was because of the caption that was written under it. It was from some of our former students who are now in college, and they just wanted to let me know that they had gone out to watch the sunrise that morning. And they explained kind of in short words, they said, Adam, we are standing on the top of this mountain looking at the gorgeous sunrise, and we all couldn't help but to remember God's love. And I was reminded in that moment on the week that I was about to teach faith, what faith is. See, every day as a staff, week in and week out, our focus is taking a bunch of teenagers and helping them get to a place where they will see God in everything. Where they will have such an impactful experience with God that it changes the way they see the entire world. And every day we kind of step out on faith thinking that what it is that we do here, the silly games that we do and the trust falls and all of this stuff, that somewhere that God will seep in and that God will change the way that you see the entire world. And now some of these people have gone and they're living out and they're acting and owning their faith out in the world. Young people, owning our faith is not easy. It means a lot more questions than answers most of the time. But at the end of the day, it's leaning on this idea that God created us to trust God. And God is a God who invokes trust in us. That's these experiences that we have have with God. It's standing at the top of a mountain and seeing a sunrise and saying, it can only be God's love that makes this possible. That is our faith in action. That is God invoking trust for God in us. Let me pray for y'all.